I didn't have high hopes for Denia's story quest.
Nope.
I'm sorry, but can you actually blame me? I believe I already mentioned it a few times, but Denia just didn't work for me from the start. She was introduced pretty suddenly and kind of stole the show from Sigrika, acted with this sassy, mean girl attitude out of nowhere, and even with the big reveal of her role as a 3-noted resonator, she felt out of place. And you know, even when we got more context, even if I did enjoy her resonator showcase and it helped me understand her a little bit more, wait, now it makes sense. Especially after her part in the first half of the finale, she still felt out of place to me. Especially with all those additional sequences that only annoyed me than helped her case, you know? So when we got to the after story, I first of all already knew it was going to focus on her, and I was like, you know, okay, bring it on. But to be honest, I believe I was more hoping to learn more about the Praxidus than learning more about Denia herself. I really lost hope that Kuro could do much to make her fit into this arc as naturally as the rest of the cast. Boy, oh boy, I could not be more wrong. And at this point, I really believe that every time I am doubting Kuro, that they are just proving me wrong every single freaking time in past months. Not only did this quest create the perfect contrast to what we experienced in the first part of the finale, but it also turned Denia into one of the most human and tragic characters in the whole Lahairoi arc. So today I want to talk about why actually Denia's story quest might be one of the darkest and most disturbing things Kuro has written so far, why she works so well as a contrast to Aemeath, and why Denia feels the most human even when almost all of her humanity was taken away from her. So without further ado, take your tea or coffee and let us get started, Starlights. The reason Denia's story works so well for me is because Denia herself is a perfect contrast to Aemeath's character, and you cannot prove me wrong. Their stories are very similar at the beginning. Both of them lost their parents, right? Both of them knocked on a stranger's door. Both of them were children who needed help. But because of that one little moment in their lives, they ended up with completely different fates. In the first part of 3.3, one of our main goals was to save Aemeath. Finally, to save our daughter. We already had this emotional connection with her created in 3.1, and the whole idea of saving our daughter became actually something players were genuinely waiting for. And in the Lahairoi's finale, Aemeath's story was emotional. It was, painful at times, but also full of hope and happiness. Her part was about the rescue. Her part was about heroes, about survival, about people refusing to give up even when the situation seemed almost impossible to win. I mean, of course, there was a tragedy in what Aemeath had to endure. I'm not saying there was not, but the story still gave us hints that if people fight hard enough, we can still save those we love. So, at the end of the day, Aemeath became a living proof that even when something is lost, even when our future seems to be decided for us by forces much bigger than us, if you fight hard enough, you can achieve your goals and win. This part of the story gave us an actual happy ending at the end of the day. Alongside saving Lahairoi, it was a perfect finale to our struggles. But you see, we got Denia. And Denia is an example of what actually happens when rescue does not come, or when it comes too late, and that winning has two sides of the coin. Because apparently not everyone can be saved. And I agree, okay? I agree, I was wrong, because apparently putting her at the center of the after story, right after all of those positive emotions from the first part, was actually a freaking smart choice. After Aemeath, after this happy ending, we are in the state where we believe that we won. I mean, we won. We got a freaking mecha fight. Aleph 1 is out on the other side of the galaxy. We got our daughter back. Everything is great. We believe that we saved Lahairoi. We believe that we saved the people we cared about. We want to believe that if there is enough love, enough effort, enough determination, then no one has to be left behind. We forgot what happened in Reina Sita with Mia and Avidius. Some of us probably even forgot about Furlova. But then Denia's quest actually reminded us, well, not exactly, not everyone gets saved in time. Not everything can be reversed, and not everyone can defy their fate and get happy ending. This is such a painful contrast because Denia is not written as somebody who never had a chance to be a human. Actually, surprisingly, even though she was treated as a test subject, even though she had only one purpose forced on her, she became one of the most human characters we have met so far. She gave us a whole spectrum of human emotions. She was bitter, she was scared, she loves, she is playful, she is constantly performing to hide what she really feels, but most of all, she simply wants to live. I truly believe that with characters like her, the world of Wuthering Waves feels way deeper, especially when we remember that Solar 3 is supposed to be this post-apocalyptic world, right? We remember that, and I have to admit, I appreciate it so much. If we think about it, we have characters that suffer in gacha stories, yes? I mean, yeah, we have a lot of them. They have tragic backstories, they have go through trauma, they lose people, but somewhere in the back of our heads, we still have this feeling that everything will be fine, because they're playable, because people like them, because the game still needs them to be profitable. Just like Aemeath. But with this story, we see that Kuro is less and less afraid of showing us true and raw emotions that are not always happy. How ironic it is that birthdays are supposed to be fun, huh? Birthdays are supposed to be about celebrating life, growing older, spending time with people we love, and, simply have fun or something. So how cruel was it to pick this exact element as a narrative decision to present Denia? Because for her, this birthday was a desperate attempt to prove that her life had any meaning at all. She just wanted a one moment where she was not a test subject, she was not a weapon, not something created for someone else's plan. And, for a brief moment, she actually felt like that. I mean, I felt that we have the option to save her. Really. But unfortunately, as the day ends, she and we, as a player, are forced to go back to reality. The reality where, just as Grand Architect said, she is a resource that can be discarded. After this realization, Denia actually escapes and we get to her point of view. This is actually very interesting because this is where the quest turns into Denia's final walk through her own nightmare in her head. I mean, I have to admit, I did not expect at all that Kuro actually makes us witness a horror sequence. Suddenly the lights go off, we hear the haunting sounds of wooden dolls. I hate dolls. And we quickly realize that we are being followed by those dolls. And we can do nothing with it. Nothing works on those creepy dolls. The only thing that actually stops them is flashing the light and look at them. I mean, I was terrified. Each time I saw those freaking dolls getting closer, I felt my heart drop. Please, 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 please. Fuck me! Fuck me! Fuck! This segment was literally scary as heck. And after our struggle, we feel a moment of relief when we finally reach Denia's door and we gotta, know a few facts about her. But in the next moment, we actually reach the real final destination of this path. We get to a huge door with a capsule in the center, and we have one of the most heartbreaking cutscenes we saw. Game actually never directly tells us everything Denia witnessed. I mean, yeah, we know, more or less, but in that moment we actually get to understand. We understand it because we see raw anger on her face. We see how destructive and emotional she becomes. It is obvious that this capsule represents everything she had to live through. The experiments, the role forced on her, the fate written for her, the way others saw her not as a human being, basically a child. We remember that she witnessed that as a child, but as something that could be used and later discarded. she ended up like a white rabbit, you know? And with Denia destroying it, it is her way to cut those stars, the only way that she knows. For the first time, she actually takes responsibility for her own life in the only way she feels like she still can. And she's fully aware of what will happen if she does not make this choice. I actually did not expect Kuro to go this far with the story. Yeah, we get the information that Denia is probably still alive, don't get me wrong, but even so, the feeling of how definitive this scene feels is insane. We see the last thing that left of Denia, the little bubble, and we get to listen to her final words. We get to listen to those stories from her perspective. You know, we learn what would happen if she actually did not make this choice. And we realize how brave she is. And after that, we face the fact that we could not even give her a simple thing that she asked for. A birthday cake. So we leave it there. Because maybe, you know, she will eventually come back and she will be happy. Oh, you bitching me, please. Oh, I can't fucking play this game. I can't fucking play it. Every time I'm promising myself that I fucking stop playing games because I'm too fucking emotional for everything. We're left with the realization that Denia becomes yet another person that we could not help. We couldn't protect her and we were simply too late. But also, she was yet another person who in her final hour made her own choice, even if someone tried to write her future for her. Just like Aemeath and Mia. I think this is why Denia's after story worked so well for me, because, you know, it didn't fully erase my problems with her, with how she was introduced into the main story. I still believe that her first appearance actually felt rushed, and I still believe that Kuro could have built her up a little bit more before the finale, especially taking into consideration how important she was supposed to be. But at the same time, I have to admit, this quest did exactly what it needed to do. It, first of all, made me understand her. It made sense with her design, which I was criticizing a few times. And it made me care about her. It turned Denia from a character I felt so unbothered into one of the most tragic and human characters into the whole Lahiroi arc, and I believe you understand why. Now I really want to know what you think, Starlight. Did Denia's story change your opinion about her? Did this quest make her work for you? Or do you still feel like her introduction and her part of the story was, I don't know, too rushed or unnecessary? Let me know down in the comments, because I am really curious how you feel about this one. That was a crazy ride. And tell me if you screamed into the horror section. I need to know, because as you heard, I screamed a lot. Yeah. Also, a small announcement before we end. On June 8th, we will have a live stream where we will be pulling for Lucy and Rebecca. I already made a community post with a poll about what time would be best to start the stream, so please check it out and vote for the hour that works best for you. And as always, stay cozy, stay shiny, and I love you so much, Starlights. Bye!